We're starting a new series this month called Achieving Mastery. Now, I know some of you have already done it, so just bear along, because there's a few of us that are still lagging behind around that. But the idea around achieving mastery is that we're all in a process of growth and evolution and unfoldment. Yes? Is that not being human? Has anyone arrived? Because I want to know who the delusional people are in the room. I always like to know that right up front, right?
I am where I am.
Exactly. So achieving mastery is not that we reach this exalted state of being. It's that we are becoming more proficient in some area or aspect of our life. And so it's a beautiful and wonderful thing. You know, over this last year, we have basically these 5 pillars that we say define who we are as a spiritual community. That we believe in prayer. We believe in meditation and visioning. We believe in study, which is what we're going to look at this time. Because most of us aren't naturally, let me rephrase that. We are naturally geared to this way of thinking. But we've been trained to be into another way of thinking, and now for many of us, we're relearning what we knew as children or as innocents. We look at this idea of gracious giving and of serving graciously. Those are the 5 pillars. Ours is not a teaching or a philosophy that says you must believe the following 10 things. You must, agree to believe that all of that. That's not our deal. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not who we are. We tend to be more of understanding a way of thinking and a way of being in the world that is powerful and transformative. Because it is a basic tenet of our belief that we live in a universe that is based in spiritual principle. This is not a chaotic universe. It is not a universe in which it changes its mind every other day. Gravity is pretty darn consistent, day in and day out, which is good. The laws of life are very consistent. So our job is to discover what those principles are and then work with them. Speaking recently to somebody who was asking about this, and I said, I don't believe in that in a power that would reward some and punish others. But I do believe that because principles are the way they are, if we're not working in accordance with them, then there is a result of that. I always use the phrase that if I step off this stage, whether intentionally or unintentionally, I will go down. The universe is not going, don't like him. It's just gravity is gravity, and that's the way it works. So being aware of that, even in my most exalted states, I'm still pretty aware of where the edge is, just, for safety's sake. And how good is that? So we believe in a power that is universal and impersonal, and we believe that we are co-creative beings with that power. Ernest Holmes, in writing The Science of Mind, said that if we can change our thinking, we can change our life. If we can change our attitude, if we can change our worldview, we literally change the way we show up in the world. So the work that we do is all about looking within ourselves to change what is necessary so that we might have a different experience of life. Now, I know when we look at others and their lives are working and ours aren't, we like to think that they're lucky, right? Or we like to think that something's wrong with us. That's not the goal here. But over the years, what I've noticed in my own life, which is my great workshop, is that sometimes I get to a place of understanding and then I get stuck there. Anybody else do that? So we have some other people that get stuck from time to time. So how do we get unstuck? So just because we're all cozy and friendly now, I just want to know who's in the room. So have you ever in your life set a goal or intention for yourself, no matter how challenging it may have been, and accomplished it? Has anyone ever done that? Okay? Yes, we do that all the time. Now that we're all cozy and friendly and chummy, let's go to the next level. Has anyone in this room ever set a goal or intention or set for themselves and not accomplished it? Losers. No, I'm kidding. Of course, we've all done it, right? We do it all the time, you know? Or here's the other one. This is the really fun one. Have you ever set a goal and intention for yourself, accomplished it, and then over a period of time went back to your old way of being? Right? Have you ever lost weight and gained it back and found it? As I like to say, oops, I lost it, then I found it. Anyone ever, quit something and then started again at some other point? Anyone ever done that, right? Why is that? So today, lo and behold, I bring to you a tablet. A holy tablet. Yes, a holy tablet. What am I going to bring you? No, of course it's a holy tablet. Because I wanted to look at this, and it was really fun. I figured it would be a good day. It's a small group. We can kind of have fun with this. So what happens for us? You see, I always love that we're talking about basic principles of spiritual living, kind of the basic course that starts this journey if you're going to study with Centers for Spiritual Living. And then there's all kinds of add-ons to that once you've kind of got that basics done. And so I've seen this over and over and over, how we do that. We say, you can take this class and it'll change your life. Well, it's a complete lie, because it won't change your life. It will only give you information and tools and practices so that you can change your life, if you want to change your life. We're offering a Prosperity Plus, which is a great thing. You see, we have all kinds. What we do here is we offer opportunities for spiritual growth and understanding. That is what we are all about. We are not here to make you think a certain way, but rather we're here to learn how to think differently about life. And by therein changing, we get to change our life. It's a brilliant and beautiful thing. But all of us are charged with doing the work. So when we do that, it's not because you lack knowledge. I'm going to just step out there on a limb and guess that every one of you at some time or another has read a book, listened to a CD, watched a DVD, been to a seminar where they have said something to you like, your attitude and your belief system will determine your experience of life. Anybody never heard this before? Okay, well, Daniel, you're a little slow, so that doesn't surprise me. You've heard it, right? We've all heard this. So knowledge is not the issue. I want you to hear this. So when we offer these classes, it's not like we have this secret package of information that you've never heard of before. It's actually about having the opportunity to go more deeply into it. I used to always joke back in the day when I smoked, which was almost 20 years ago, I think it's been, people would always come up and say, I won't embarrass you, but to smokers, people will say brilliant things like, don't you know that's not good for you? Me being me, I'd always say, why didn't anybody tell me this? Right? Because I never saw that label that's this big blaring on the side of it. Right? I didn't know. Who knew? Now, just because we're all having fun, how many of you have ever done anything knowingly that's not good for you today? Because I saw a lot of people going by that cookie table, right? And most of us know cookies are not a food group. They're not, right? But, we like to have our sugar. We like to have our caffeine. We like to have all the things we like to do. Even though some part of us knows that's not always our highest and best good, right? So, now that we know everybody in the room belongs in the room, let's have the conversation. Because this is the program I've been working with. I'm so excited about it. For me, a light bulb went off. I'd heard the information before, but something happened when I saw this again. I was like, oh, I get it. Here's what happens. So, bear with me. This is you. Pun intended. And here you are. So here we are. We're hanging out, enjoying our life. We're in the, what I lovingly refer to as the fat, dumb, happy phase of our life. All's well, we're just hanging out, life's good, right? And so we are in this model called the inception phase. And inception is where we are unconscious. I need a better marker. Just listen to me. You can't read my writing anyways. Unconscious, incompetent. We don't know what to do and we don't know how to do it. Not even where we don't. Heaven, that phrase of ignorance is bliss, so true. So true. But the thing is, we never get to live there. Either something within us starts to stir and we say, wow, maybe there's more to my life. Maybe there's something else for me. Maybe there's this passion that I'm feeling. Maybe I want to dream the bigger dream. I want to live the larger life. I want to do something. Sometimes that's inwardly generated. Sometimes it's externally forced upon us. Life happens. People die. Divorces happen. Bankruptcies happen, economies shift, all kinds of things happen, and we go, I no longer get to hang out in ignorance. I no longer get to be my fat, dumb, happy self. So I know I'll go to a seminar. And they say, yes you, sir, you can live the life of your dreams. And all you have to do is think differently and have a great attitude and start your journey. And you're like, yes. This is what I've always been looking for. And you are some kind of excited. You're just like, yes. We all do it around the end of the year, and January 1's coming up, and we're like, 2016, baby, it's all different. I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to start that, and I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to join that, and I'm going to da-da-da-da-da. January 4, we're like, what was I thinking, right? Here's what happens. We hit the deception phase, where we become consciously incompetent. Yay, look at the progress we've made, right? So here at the inception phase, our attitude is high, our commitment is none, and our emotion is high. We're just cool. Whatever happens to cause that change, now we move to the deception phase, and we're like, oh my God. So we start to make those changes. We say, yes, I'm going to go to the gym, and we go to the gym, and we work out like there is no tomorrow. Anybody done this? I haven't worked out for 5 years, but today's the day, and I'm going to bust it out, man. And it's great. You go home feeling good, and you're looking good, and you're thinking, I'm on the track. And you realize this thing happens 3 days later that you cannot move. I call my trainer, could you come get my groceries out of the car? Because I cannot lift my arms, right? And you're like, wait a minute, what happened? Well, this happens at every level of our being. We start things, we're highly enthusiastic, and then we hit this deception phase where we become aware. Awareness is always not a wonderful thing, you see. So we become aware and we're still incompetent, we don't know what to do, and then we happen to start feeling, then our attitude goes down, it's low. Our commitment is low, and our emotion is low. And sometimes people quit. Now, the revelation, because it's a small group and we're all friends, and the revelation for me was, oh my God, that's what happens in our church, in our center. That people will often hit a point in their growth, and then they hit the deception phase, and it is uncomfortable. Can you all say that with me? Uncomfortable. Thank you. Right? But we don't just say, wow, my paradigm's being messed with and it makes me uncomfortable. We go, I don't like those people. I don't like that minister. He seems nice enough when you start, but then all of a sudden he gets inside your head and he wants me to sleep in your head, so I got to go away. Or, because think about it. You ever had a boss that came to you and said, you're incompetent? And you're like, thank you, boss. Thank you for sharing that information. I'm sure that we can use this as an opportunity for our further growth and unfoldment. Thank you for the value and positive feedback, right? And you go to the water cooler with all your other coworkers who your boss has just said they are also incompetent, and you have this loving conversation about how you can bring greater peace to the world and greater productivity to the office place. Right? Or we want to be mad at the thing that has created what we perceive as the thing that's created the challenge for us. So I, from time to time, like to send my personal trainer hate texts. And I say, I hate you especially today. You know, I cannot move. And he's like, good. He's happy. It makes him very happy. We have a wonderful sick relationship. I don't know what it's about, but it's good, right? Because he knows I'm growing and stretching. So what happens for many people is we hit this phase, January 4, January 5, and we go, what was I thinking? I don't have the energy. I don't have the enthusiasm. I quit. And we stop. We go back to living our inception life. But if we are willing to move beyond, we can move through that to the level of transformation. And it is here that we become consciously competent. Hooray! Now, I've been doing this long enough with my trainer that I don't have to have him show me what machine to use and how to use it, Now it's the relationship has evolved because I got conscious and I got competent at doing it. I figured out how these silly machines, I'm still not sure why I do this, but I do. And it's a great thing, right? So think about, I'm using training and using weight loss, but think about anything, starting a new business. You're like, yes, this is our dream, honey. We're going to make this thing rock. You get into it, like whatever. You start a class and you're like, this is great. I have this conversation with practitioners. Now I have a new model to have the conversation with practitioner students. Because I always say, some point you're going to hit it, right? At some point you're going to hit the wall and you're going to go, I don't know why I ever thought that right? We're going to breathe through that and we're going to keep going. So here, if we're willing to move through this phase, we come to transformation. We lose 50 pounds. We hit a new level in our business. We create the new thing that we wanted. We reach a level of competence, and we're aware of it. And we're like, excellent. Now, you're done, right? No, you knew it could not be that simple and that easy. No. And so, some people have been known to lose weight and gain it back. You say, Marty, what an idiot you are. You lost all that weight and you gained it back. What's wrong with you? Now, that's a whole another question. We're not even going into that one. But so let's ask the question, what happened? Because until we move to this next level, which is called identity, where we become unconsciously competent. It's now habit. It's now who we are. I was sharing...
Let's see you do that again.
See that? Wow. Didn't go over. Must have defied the laws of gravity just to prove me wrong. Right? So now, it's not just the transformation, it's the identity. This is who I am. I was in Sun Valley this weekend with some friends and went up. They have this Wagon Days parade, and it's really fun. It's a big unmotorized parade, so everything's done, horses and carriages, and then they have the big hitch, which is this amazing, huge wagon train thing. Big deal if you're in a small town, right? But it's cool, and so there's a wonderful party, and so I went up to celebrate. So I got to run into a number of friends who I hadn't seen some time, and so got to catch up, and I was like, you're not going to believe this. Because these people know me from a couple years ago. I'm like, I'm an athlete. I go to the gym 4 or 5 or 6 times a week of my own volition. It's part of who I, and they're like, really? What happened? Well, here's what happened. I got to work through that. Then I got to a point, and where I realized where I gained weight again was I stopped here. I've got this. I'm consciously competent. But it hadn't yet moved to the level of identity where it was unconsciously competent. Now it's just what I do. I can't even imagine not doing what I do. I miss it. So it's like, how does that happen? So here's what happens for all of us is that we're in this process, but if we freak out here and quit, often what we want to do is make it about something outside of us, because none of us want to look in the mirror and say to our friend, yeah, I'm unconsciously incompetent. Who knew? Right? We're much more skilled at saying, the government, the Republicans, the Democrats, the whatever, my boss, my wife, my spouse, my whatever is preventing my greater good. Right? If we can move through it and become more conscious and become competent, just realize, don't stop there. Now we're on track, and you stay with that, and then you move to that next level where this is your identity. And the good news about identity is when we've actually changed our belief system, when we actually changed our habits, it just comes naturally. And then we just do what we need to do. Now, I'm going to share with you a piece that's not in this program, but I've realized, and I think it's important you know, is that when you hit here, now you become aware of a new vista, of a new opportunity. Life says you're not done yet. You're still breathing. And so we say, well, I know what I'll do. I think I'll do this new wonderful thing. And we set in motion the program once again, and then you realize, aha, I'm going to have to go through this. And we do it over and over and over and over. Sometimes I hear people say, you know, I've been studying this stuff for all these years, and now I'm just starting to get it. That's how I feel. I've been doing this 30 years. I move into a whole new level of understanding. Why? Because I'm more conscious and aware. Now I can see the new vista. So I hate to bust your bubble, but I'm going to. There's no end in sight. Until the day you stop breathing, then you can go ahead and check on out, right? In the meantime, keep breathing and keep moving forward. Is this helpful at all to anyone? Can anybody see anything in their life that may have some relevance here? So here's what I want us to know. The whole secret to life, this is Uncle Marty's formula for the secret of life, is very simple. It is this: ask. You're welcome. Somehow I thought you'd burst into thunderous applause, but apparently not. So ask stands for attitude. Attitude defines all of it. But it is not the only thing I want us to know. You know, I was sharing at the earlier service, you know, so let's say I've read this book and I'm so inspired. What's the Republican guy that's the brain surgeon? Ben Carson, brain surgeon. So I read his autobiography and I'm like, that's cool. I've always wanted to do brain surgery, and I've got a great attitude around that. I'm going to be the best brain surgeon ever, because you know what? I know God. I am one with God. And now, who would like to volunteer? And you're thinking, no. I like your attitude. You got nothing else going for you, right? So then, turns out you want to have some skills. You want to develop some ways of doing it. Attitude is not enough, but we have to develop the skills. Attitudes will get you there. And then the last one is, K is for knowledge. You got to have some knowledge. So here's what I'm aware of. When we're offering courses and classes and we're having more and more, we're starting to run into this situation where we don't have enough space for all of the things that are trying to come in here. How cool is that? That is the vision when we did the co-creation the last time, was we're going to create a center that is a gathering place for all kinds of growth and sharing and social activities and things, all about helping to empower people to live their most full life. We're starting to see that. But what I also know is when we started, we were so clear, we're going to build a building and it'll be great and life will be grand. And then we got into the building, we did this amazing thing. And then all of a sudden, we hit a crisis. We said, oh my God, we don't have enough money. I knew it. And I watched as a bunch of people went into who's to blame, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just saying, it's just a crisis. It's just money, right? It's just that opportunity to move to the next level. So we're doing this next co-creation is like we built the structure. Now let's create the infrastructure. Let's fulfill the ministry. The building was never the end. It was the beginning. So we want to ask, we want to develop the skills, we want to have the knowledge. For me, understanding this model realizes I keep setting myself up. I keep setting myself up to figure out how consciously incompetent I am. Because I don't want to be unconscious. I want to be a conscious person, right? And so we're all setting ourselves up. Knowing that this is what we're doing helps me breathe through and keep moving forward and doing the things long enough until it becomes my identity and therefore my habit, and then it just happens naturally. People say, wow, it's just magic how things happen in your life. Yeah, it's magic in 30 years of practice. Really magic, because life is magical, but the practice is what sets up the environment. So, we're looking at achieving mastery. I don't know what's up for you. Maybe it's we all have our assignment. You know what yours is, right? Some it's relationships, some it's health, some it's money, some it's some other thing, right? And so life always presents us opportunities for greater growth and unfoldment. Thank you, life. We're saying when we're excited, when we're here, yes, life's grand. Oops, what happened, right? So you may be in any of these quadrants. It doesn't matter. It's all good. Just know that you are loved and that you are supported. And our whole intention and desire in this community is to help you unfold as that most highest self that was seeking to be expressed through you. You're welcome. Let us pray. As we take a deep breath and simply breathe into the awareness of the ever-present reality of divine spirit, of this one life, this one power, this one infinite being that is forever and ever seeking its self-expression through us and as us. And we remember in this moment the truth of who we are. That we are divine beings, that the very spiritual inheritance that we have received is one of wholeness and beauty and love and joy and harmony and abundance. So as we recognize this truth, as we remember who we are, we're simply allowing this to be a moment of new creation and new possibility. We choose consciously to live that higher life, to embrace our divine magnificence. We know that the true reality of who we are is one of wholeness. And so we allow that wholeness to be revealed and expressed as health and well-being and vitality. We give thanks for the many opportunities for our vivacious living. We know that we are one with the only power, which is the power of love. That self-givingness of spirit as it pours itself into existence. And so we know that there's nothing that is opposed to that. That love is making itself known, and we are choosing to be in a state of unconditional love. As we do so, we find it comes very easy to forgive, to release, to practice compassion, to practice kindness. We're simply seeking the highest good for all concerned, from a state of awareness, of grace, and peace. We know that we are abundant beings because we are one with the source and the substance of all that is. So we gently release any blocks to our greater good, any worn out ideas, any preconceived notions of the truth of who we are. And we accept and embrace that greater reality, that life is always giving of itself, so we graciously and joyously receive of this divine bounty. I'm inviting you that if there is a burden or a struggle in your life in this moment, to simply ask, to simply know that perhaps this is an opportunity for greater growth and unfoldment. What greater spiritual quality is seeking its revelation through this situation right now? And knowing that wisdom is provided, followed by inspired action, to move through, to co-create with the divine. How blessed we are to be in this state of awareness and understanding. And so because we know we are blessed, we extend a blessing. We bless this spiritual community. We know that it is a divine idea unfolding, revealing itself, being a light of truth in our world. We extend that blessing to our brothers and sisters around the world, across the planet. We're holding a high vision for a planet at peace, a planet in harmony with itself, a world that works for all. And as is our custom, we bless all priests, rabbis, ministers, teachers of all faiths and all faith traditions. We know that there are many pathways to the divine. We give thanks that where two or more are gathered, the presence of love is there. And so giving thanks for all of these blessings, giving thanks for this inner realization, giving thanks for a law of mind operating upon the consciousness we establish, I simply know there's nothing more to do but to release this word into that law, to allow it to be so, as together we say, and so it is.